Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Dameon Nelson coming here from MaxSportsOnline.com with this week's Raw wrap-up. WWE RAW emanating from New York City's Madison Square Garden, 5 years to the day after the tragic events of 9/11. The show was billed as Vince McMahon's first matchup in the hallowed ground known as the Garden. Well, it was done well tonight. Overall was the product, but let's talk about it match by match, segment by segment. Opening was a tribute to the fallen peeps of 9/11 with singing of the America the Beautiful by Lillian Garcia. Very well done and respectful tribute by WWE. Immediately following that was Ric Flair coming out to enter a matchup with Umaga. Umaga gets really takes Flair's name and doesn't really do anything with it. But then after that, you see Kane come out. Kane then really dominated by Umaga at first. Umaga then dominating Kane. Kane, with some very vile chair shots against Umaga, followed up with actually throwing the steel stairs from inside the ring to outside the ring, nailing Umaga. A good build to the match on Sunday at Unforgiven between the two. And as a matter of fact, that's one thing Raw did really well this week was the building of matches leading up into Unforgiven, coming up this Sunday night from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. From there, we saw Vince and Shane out in the lobby area of Madison Square Garden, the Garden, talking about Vince's Walk of Fame plaque, and you saw the plaque sitting on the ground there, and it was fun to see the little barricade set up around that, building up to the matchup later on in the night between him and Triple H. And then we come back from break, and it was the NYPD Pipes and Drums coming out and playing a little bit of the Scottish music for the Highlanders, of course. But you can't have live bagpipes playing in an arena and not have the legendary Roddy Piper be involved. Well, Roddy Piper making a surprise appearance on Raw tonight, not only making an appearance, doing a funny skit between himself and the Highlanders, then interrupted by the Spirit Squad. Well, then the match is made 3-on-3. Roddy Piper joins the Highlanders against the Spirit Squad. Funny match, drug out a little bit too long. Roddy Piper only did what he needed to do, but he did get the pinfall victory over the Spirit Squad in that particular matchup. Again, solid build and great progression to the pay-per-view on Sunday, building each match. And now there's a little bit of intrigue now with this Tag Team Championship matchup. Basically, a nice rub given by Roddy Piper to the Highlanders, which I think got a little bit more credibility from the mainstream fans just in tonight's single move. Then Johnny Nitro comes out with Melina, and they start harping on Mick Foley again, and it's going to get a little painful until Jeff Hardy came out and started doing a painting, which I'm still not sure who it was supposed to be. But that was the reason to get the paint in the studio area so that Jeff Hardy could throw the paint all over Nitro and Melina, which was sold pretty good. It was just, it was alright. And then the matchup is coming up next. After we see some, throughout the night, we see promos for the Hell in a Cell matches that have happened in the past. And it was good to see the original Hell in a Cell match from Bad Blood in 1997 at the Savage Center, is what it was called at the time, in St. Louis, Missouri. The Kiel Center, St. Louis, Missouri, where that was the very first Hell in a Cell match between Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. And if you don't recall who made their debut and who didn't quite make it to that pay-per-view, send us an email, a little bit of trivia for you folks. Bad Blood 1997. And then from there, we see the six-man tag, which was the other main event for the night. It was Edge teaming up with Randy Orton, teaming up with the Intercontinental Champion Johnny Nitro, going up against John Cena, Matt Hardy, and Carlito Caribbean Cool. It was funny, before the match, Edge raps Cena back to SmackDown. It's going to be an interesting dynamic this Sunday in Toronto, as it will be Edge's hometown, and Toronto will be firmly behind Edge. It is a unique area up there in Toronto, Canada, as far as cheering for fans and such, and they will be very much behind their hometown hero, not only Trish Stratus, we'll talk more about her in a minute, but the WWE Champion, Edge. JR then says for the second week in a row, I believe, that Jeff Hardy has made a huge impact since he's been back in WWE. I wonder if that means what he says or if he's saying what he means. One thing that also needs to be noted is Carlito's popularity should not be held back. And what I mean by that is Carlito could easily be somebody who's on their way to being, and I hate comparisons, but the next Rock. And he's got a lot of potential, folks, and listen to the fans when he comes out. And I think it'd be cool, man, if he was able to get that push that he so readily deserved. Good finish to the matchup, as we saw everybody execute their finisher, and then the faces go over Cena, Hardy, and Carlito. Then it was a crime time promo, and I just can't wait. However, this one was funnier than last week's, I will give you that. Chris Masters then in the ring again with no entrance, not a masterpieceful entrance this week, versus Super Crazy, a rematch. Who cares? Why bother? Super Crazy wins. I wonder if Chris Masters is in a bit of a doghouse for his new appearance, which is markedly different from his old appearance as a result of giving up the drugs. And then there was a promo for John Cena's movie, The Marine. From there, Mickie James goes up against Trish Stratus in what would be Trish Stratus' last match on WWE RAW. Trish Stratus goes over. She congratulates Mickie James, a moment of embrace, a thank you from Trish in the middle of the ring. Another class act by WWE as Trish has her final matchup, and as final as they can get in professional wrestling, this Sunday at the Unforgiven pay-per-view in Toronto. From there, it was somehow or another Cade Murdoch attacking D-Generation X with the help of Shane McMahon and Big Show. There's an old limo involved. Whenever you see a non-new style limo, you know somebody's going through a window or whatever. The DX is just decimated backstage. Triple H seemingly not able to participate in the matchup. Vince McMahon comes out and says the match is next. No, by the way, it is a no-holds-barred match. The match, we go to break, we come back. Vince McMahon announced first, and then Bloody H comes out in a very regal, powerful move, coming out to wrestle the matchup, and gets in the ring and doesn't really have much to do at first. Then a comeback, run-ins by Shane, run-in by Big Show, run-in by HBK, and in the end of it all, it was McMahon standing tall over Triple H and HBK for a match that I really don't care about, the Hell in a Cell match this Sunday at the Unforgiven pay-per-view. I thought the ending was boring, I thought it was lame, I thought it was predictable, I thought it was repetitive, and we've seen it all before, but did what it needed to do, which was sell the pay-per-view matchup. Overall, it was a good Raw. It did what they needed to do for the entire show, which was sell the pay-per-view, sell the pay-per-view, sell the pay-per-view. We will be bringing you a wrap-up of the pay-per-view, WWE Unforgiven, so make sure you tune in to us right here on the internet. And from there, we will move on to the Raw wrap-up for next week. But don't also forget, in the middle of all that, we'll have a brand new episode of Pro Wrestling Report coming up later this week right here on this very website. So tune in. Thanks for tuning into this wrap-up. Dameon Nelson for the Pro Wrestling Report.